All right, so this is part one. I'm not sure how far I'll be able to get on this, but we will continue next month with the rest. But bugging in at home, as I mentioned earlier, is for a short-term situation where, it looks like everything's going to go back to normal in a little while, or you're anticipating it will. And the possible, well, what could possibly cause that? What would cause you to want to, be prepared at home? Well, there are many different things that could cause it, but all of them are going to usually mean that there will be no electricity. And so you would have, any reaction to a terrorist attack, natural disasters such as Hurricane Katrina. These highlight the importance of prepping for well-being for your family. But when you understand that those kind of major doomsday things are not the norm, those are, a higher level situation, most preppers are prepared for a wide range of disasters. And then prepping really makes sense. So if there was no electricity because, let's say, of a hurricane, let's say a transformer gets knocked out, it could be just a heavy storm that blew down a pole or something, or something went flying through the wires and it got knocked out. It could be an EMP, which is an electromagnetic pulse, could be natural, or could be from a weapon, or it could be a cyber attack where a whole electrical grid may have been attacked. That happened not too long ago. I think it was in North Carolina, where a guy just came and was just, like started shooting up an electrical plant. But yes, insanities, can happen anywhere. So what happens when there's no electricity, right? There's no lights. There's no air conditioning or heat. Your computer is worthless. If you have internet on your phone, that's good, as long as there's also phone service. But often when these things happen, the phone service goes down too. If you have an electric stove, it will also be useless. Any security system that you have in your doors or windows around your place, cameras, things like that, those will all go out. There'll be no banking, so you won't be able to go get cash. Gas stations won't work. You won't have access to any kind of purchasing because they all have, electronic, digital, use your card and stuff, unless you have cash in some cases. That might still be acceptable. And of course, there will be no street lights or, red and green lights. It will just, things will just come to a stop. So it wouldn't take long for criminals to take advantage of the situation. And so one of the very important things to do now and in any situation is to become friends with your neighbors, to help your neighbors before there's an emergency, and be the person to help them afterwards, and be friendly with them, and somehow work together so that as neighbors you can, protect your area. So if we do help them, your whole area can become a buffer zone from the bad people. And you can all be part of a joint defense. And, like, for example, you help them to start a garden, you help them become self-sufficient, and they ultimately, will become part of a team of yours. So therefore, bugging it at home with just you and your family is a short-term plan. And as I said, that's level 1 planning. Okay, so the first step of this is to have a family plan. And I'm going to introduce you to a website called True Prepper, TRUE prepper.com. And he has a very beautiful site that's very simply laid out. But for this particular subject, it's called Basic-Emergency Plan. I'll put this in the chat. And it's a page that you can go to where he will give you some very good instructions on how to put together a family plan, a basic emergency plan that you can use to help organize your family in an emergency. So the website will also give you steps to create an emergency plan. And there's even a template, a PDF template that you can see that just asks you questions. You just fill it out and you check them off, and you go step by step for some of the things you would need to have in your home. Step 5 on there, by the way, says, to attach your supply list. And that's what we're going to be covering in these next training sections, is what it is that you need to have. Okay, so that's just kind of the very first step. David's going to now take over and talk to you about security being in your home security for your home. So here you go, David.